Hello beautiful people, and welcome back to my channel. It is your girl Simone Nicole, back at it again with another video, and today's video is going to be a story time. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Wow, that wasn't English. I have 2 pages of notes for this story time, and this story time today is going to be about my most awful first date I've ever had in the history of my whole 24 years of life. But before we get into that, we have got to do our subscriber shout out of the day. And today's subscriber shout out is going to go to Miss Sydney Ann. She said, just discovered your channel. I just automatically subscribed. Sis, your content is this emoji. Thank you so much to Miss Sydney for subscribing to my channel and for being such a supportive person. If you are new here, then you would not know that we are all about positivity, spreading positivity, lifting our good sisses up instead of putting anybody down ever for any reason. And if you would like to be my subscriber shout out in my next video, then all you have to do is 1, be subscribed, and 2, comment down below, show me some love, let me know that you joined the family, and you could be my next subscriber shout out of the day. And with all that being said, let's get started with today's video. So this story takes place pretty recently. I have been single for a little while now, and I've been back on, the dating scene. So my friend and myself went to this party, and it was a college age party because it was for a fraternity. I graduated college about 2 years ago, so I didn't feel like uncomfortable going because I'm not so old that I felt out of place. So I was completely fine with going. I ended up seeing a bunch of people that I knew there. It was a smooth time, and I saw this guy there, and he seemed cool when I was talking to him. He seemed chill. So from what I got to know about him at the party, he seemed cool. Let's name this guy Jeff. So me and Jeff are talking at the party. He's a Taurus, and I have this unhealthy love thing for Tauruses. But then I had to put the brakes on because I asked Mr. Jeff how old he was, and he was like, oh, I'm 22. I'm 24, and I'm not gonna sit up here and act like 2 years is the hugest thing. I know that everyone says this. I get it. But I'm very mature for my age, very mature for my age. So I don't like to date people that are younger than me. I don't even like to date people my age. So the fact that he was 22, I was just like, ugh. But what do I expect? I'm at a college party, whatever. So he seemed cool. I give him my number. So we're texting, we're talking, and this part that I'm about to tell you will become imperative later on in the story. We're texting, and this is when all of the madness started to break out with George Floyd. I was feeling definitely some type of way about everything, and I felt very powerless and very helpless. I actually mentioned this in my vlog because I vlogged myself going to the protest. If you haven't seen that video already, I'll link it up here. I googled to see if there was any protests near me, and there was. The guy that I was talking to said that he apologized for not texting me back in a while because he was in a meeting because he's involved with an organization on campus that's like a BSCPB or like a BSU, Black Student Union, that kind of thing. So he actually told me again about the protest and sent me the flyer directly, and then he also sent me on the day of the protest this whole long list of emergency things, or things that you should know if you're attending a protest, which I'll actually pop up on the screen just so that you guys have it in case you guys ever participate in any protests. It is good information to have. Now, with all that being said, it made me be in love with him because I'm like, oh my god, he cares about important things, and he's willing to hashtag fight for what's right. So I was in love with him. The day after the protest, I had texted him because I was texting him that day to just make sure that he was okay and stuff like that. He had texted me back the next day after the protest, and he was like, I mean, everything was good up until I got pepper sprayed. And I'm like, oh my god, Jeff, husband, how did you get pepper sprayed? And he was just like, it's kind of like a long story, but I'm completely fine. So we did that conversation, and we keep on talking about something else. Eventually he asked me out on a date, and of course I'm like, yes, in my head we're married, I love you, so of course I'll go on a date with you. Here's red flag number 1. He asked me to come to his house and chill. Us vaginas out there, we know that when men say things like, oh, I just want you to come over and chill, it means I'm gonna put on a movie that I really don't care about because all I want to do is penetrate you. And I just really wasn't down to be penetrated by a stranger and to go to someone's house that I don't know, because even though we're married and he's my husband, he's literally a complete stranger. So I'm not going to your house. I had to set him straight and be like, I don't make it a habit to go to strangers' houses. So no. He was like, okay, so then what do you want to do? And I was like, well, we could like actually go out. We should go to like a restaurant or go out for drinks or whatever. And he's like, red flag number 2. How are we gonna go out to these places if Ohio, where we live, is still shut down? And I'm just like confused, because at that point that we were texting, our state had been back open for at least a week or 2. Not a big deal, but all of these things, you're just adding up to one big messy pie. So that's strike number 2, or red flag number 2. After I informed him of that, he was like, oh yeah, like we can just go out. And I was like, okay, so then let's go get a drink. He was like, okay, just come to me, because he lived on his college campus, of course, because he's a college student. He was like, just come to me and we can go to the bars out here. Now, if anybody watching has been to college, especially when you live in a college town, you know that town backwards and forwards. Especially by the time you're a senior, it doesn't matter if you like to go out or if you don't. You have a pretty good idea of the places that you like to go and the places that you don't like to go. I get there. Red flag number, what are we on, 3? He doesn't park anywhere near me. And you know what? Let's just call this. Let's not label this as a red flag. That bothered me. Like, you knew where I parked. You called me. I described exactly where I was parked at, and you deliberately parked like super duper far away. So either you walked because you don't have a car, or 2, you drive a hoopty. Something to note. What actually became red flag number 3 was the fact that we were on campus, his college campus, and the one place that he betted on being open wasn't open. So he had no idea where to go after that. And that didn't make any sense to me, because again, coming from someone that went to college in a college town and didn't go out all like that, I had a good concept of where I liked to go and for what. So it was so weird to me that he just, like, the one bar was closed, so he was like, oh, throw my hands up, literally don't know where to go. It is so attractive when a man has a plan. When I say zero plan, I mean zero plan. So I'm just really not feeling him, okay? We're walking around and I see that this place has a patio. There's a bar on his campus that has a patio. I said, okay, let's go there, you know, coronavirus. Let's go to some place with a patio and just sit outside. I picked this place, annoying, but I do. And we go to the inside and we first stop at the bar. They have this whole big menu and I'm sitting there and I'm thinking to myself like, what do I want to drink tonight? He turns around and looks at the menu. Red flag number 4. He turns around and he looks at the menu and he's like,
you know, I'm not even gonna hold you. Like, I don't know what half this stuff means.
And so I turn around like, okay, so is the menu like in Chinese? So I like turn around and it's just a bunch of beers. And I'm like, it's just a bunch of IPAs. And he's like, what's an IPA? I said, it's a beer. And he was like, oh, I don't like beer. So I look, I think it's called a grape bomb. And it's essentially like Red Bull, vodka, and something else, and they put it into a shot. So I ordered 2 of them. And then I also order an Angry Orchard for myself. This was more annoying than anything else, but he starts to like really talk about the fact that I got an Angry Orchard. Anybody that actually drinks beer knows that Angry Orchard is not a beer, it's a cider, it's a hard cider. It's for the pussies that don't actually like beer but want the experience. So I order 2 shots and I order an Angry Orchard for myself. He then looks up at the list and then he turns around and he's like, can I get 2 shots of, and then I forget the brand name of the tequila, but he says the name of the tequila. In my head I was like, who mixes vodka and tequila? Like, everyone that has drunk for any period of time knows that when you mix liquors, it makes you sick. It doesn't sit right on the stomach. So I was kind of surprised that he did that, but I was like, okay. We get the 2 shots of tequila, 2 basically shots of vodka, and then I have an Angry Orchard. And he won't shut up about how I like beer. We got all of this stuff and the guy's like, your total is $17. Dirt cheap. He produces a $10 bill from his pocket. And like, you know when you're trying to like hand somebody something but you don't want to hand it to them? So like they like reach their hand out but you're like, like, and then the person is like, and then you're like So he's like, doesn't want to hand him the $10 bill, but he like does eventually. And it's like crinkled up. So the bartender uncrinkles it and he's like, your total's gonna be $17. But keep in mind, homeboy is literally like on his phone, like furiously doing something. I said, oh, I recognize this look. This is when they tell you the total and you don't know how much money you have in your bank account, so you gotta check to make sure. Keep in mind the balance is $7. I'm frozen because I'm sitting here looking. You know what? Let me take that back. I'm not frozen. I am thoroughly entertained by everything that is happening right now. So I'm sitting there looking at him as he's like, why are you so nervous? Is there not $7 in your account? And he's like, the bartender's standing there confused like me. He's like, yo, it's $17. So he like, again, the whole cat and mouse game that was just played with the $10 bill again happens as he like fiddles with pulling out a debit card. He pulls out a debit card from Huntington. And the same like cat and mouse game happens with the card. The guy comes back after swiping his Huntington card and he's like, yo, like it didn't go through. Pause. I know that Huntington is very much so like a northeast of the United States thing. It is a bank where you are allowed, they have 24-hour grace. You can overdraw on your account for 24 hours and they will not say a word to you. If you overdraw on your account on a Friday, you do not have to have that money in your account until Tuesday morning. Huntington is the GOAT. There's no reason why your Huntington card should be getting declined, but his did. But the bartender was like, you know, my guy, it didn't go through, but I took care of it. So embarrassing. I worked in retail for a bunch of years too. So when people's cards get declined, I don't care at all. I'm super duper chill about that type of stuff. And I didn't want to embarrass him further. So I was like, oh my God, to the bartender. I'm like, thank you so much. Like, that's so sweet. So I gather up all of our drinks and we're walking and he's like,
man, he dumb. Like, why he gonna miss out on that money? Dude, he's stupid. He should have swiped.
The bartender that just paid for the rest of our drinks is stupid. Okay, cool. So we sit down. And I was like, okay, so which shot do you want to take first? I like to take tequila shots with lime and with salt. So I tell him, like, I'm going to go back to the bar and I'm going to get some lime and some salt. And he's like, why? And I'm like, so you've never taken a tequila shot before with lime and salt? And he's like, no. And I'm like, okay, so you're a child. I will be right back. We take both shots and he did not take them well. Like, it was very difficult for him to get these shots down. And I'm just like, again, you're a child. Alcohol is down. We proceed to start talking. The date portion is happening now. After all this has been said and done, you keep in mind, dear viewer, we haven't even gotten into the nooks and crannies of the date yet. I sit down and I ask him and I'm like, hey, so like, how'd you end up getting pepper sprayed at the protest? Because I mean, like, my experience was fine. And for that particular protest, maybe not everywhere, but for that particular protest, in order for you to get in trouble with the police, you had to be like right up in their face. So he goes,
well, it was kind of sort of because like we was antagonizing the police.
I'm sorry, Jeff, what did you just say? Because it sounds like you, a black man, during a protest about how a black man was killed by the police, just said that he was antagonizing the police. I'm sorry, repeat that. Okay, great.
Well, you know what I'm saying? Like, I had saw a police shield in a cop car, so I took it out of the cop car and started taking pictures with it. But you know what? It's fine though, because no one will ever know that it's me, because I was like suited and booted head to toe, covered from head to toe in my protest gear.
So he steals a police shield and then he said that he was in the police's face, like up in their face, talking about
police, this and that, 12, y'all ain't shit. Y'all are murderers.
He says he's screaming this in the police face, and I just feel like, if you know that the police just killed an unarmed black man on national TV, national television, and it took them 2 weeks to get this man arrested, why would you stand in front of said officer and yell in their face saying all of these things? So I'm trying to like gently tell this man this, and he was like,
you know, I mean, like, it wasn't even that big of a deal for real. At least we ain't steal.
I said, what do you mean at least we didn't steal? Here goes red flag number, what is this, 8 now?
Well, you know what I'm saying? Like, we just took the shield because it was like sitting around the front seat. This white.
First of all, I like blacked out after he said that phrase. This white man comes up, opens the back of the police car and takes out a duffel bag. He was like, at least we didn't do that. So he justified his behavior because he didn't open the back of the police car and steal a duffel bag of God knows what. So him stealing a police show and taking pictures with it and being up in the police face, that was justified. Great, sure, check mark. Moving on to the next problematic thing in this date. He says the sentence.
So what do you think about the you know what I'm saying, like the gays?
I said, you mean the LGBTQIA plus community? And he's like, yeah, then. So I tell him, you know, they deserve what anybody else would want in life.
I don't know. Like, I just feel like they don't need to be protesting like we do. They ain't never struggled for nothing. Every time they ask for something, they get it. They want gay marriage, they got it.
I'm not even laughing because I think it's funny. I'm laughing because of the sheer amount of ignorance that this person had to have to come up out of their mouth and say something like that. The demographics that annoy me the most is like demographics that fight over who has more oppression. Let's not tear down another oppressed group in order to bring up our oppressed group. It's so anti-productive to me. And why are you fighting people on wanting equal rights when they've been discriminated against, when you yourself know exactly how that feels and was actually just at a protest about it? It was like so dumb, it was laughable. Literally letting me know that he will never see my face again because you are like past ignorant. It feels like ignorance and dumb. Like you're really like battling. Like, is he ignorant? Is he dumb? Is he dumb? Is he ignorant? Is he both? Really don't know. So this is word flag number 87. We get to perhaps my favorite part of the date. He brings up interracial dating. And I said, I have absolutely no problem with interracial dating. The thing that I get upset about, especially concerning Black men and white women, is when Black men bring down Black women or denounce Black women in order to lift a white woman up. For example, Black women are so ghetto and loud, and I don't like dark-skinned women, and I want to reproduce light-skinned babies and all this stuff, and I'm just not attracted to Black women. White women, however, are just so beautiful. They're so fine. They're so this. They're so that. That's what I have a problem with. He, however, had an issue with the aesthetic of it all.
I just don't understand how the darkest of dark-skinned will be with the whitest of white girls.
And I understand that sentiment. I do. I think it could have been worded a little better, of course. But I, as being a part of the dark skin community, hello, what's poppin'? I stepped in to kind of explain the psychology of it all. Growing up, dark skinned, as I did, was very, 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 very difficult. And it really messes with your psyche. I idolized and was so in love with light-skinned men because if a light-skinned boy chose me, it meant that I'm beautiful because this light-skinned boy is choosing me. So I fetishized light-skinned men a lot. I would never date someone as dark as me when I was younger. Ever, ever, ever. I did not find dark-skinned men attractive in the slightest because I didn't like myself. I didn't think that I was beautiful, so I did not want to be with a man that looked like me. On top of that, I didn't want to produce dark-skinned babies. I didn't want them to go through what I went through. I'm explaining this to him very as a matter of factly, not like, woe with me, like I'm so sad, like I'm ugly because I'm dark. No, I'm speaking about myself in the past. This man, after me just explaining the psychology behind a dark-skinned man idolizing and loving white women and why that is psychologically, takes it upon himself to go,
you know what? Come here.
What?
Come over here.
Why?
Just come over here.
So I pick my behind up and I plop down next to him and he leans over and he puts his stupid effing arm around me. He's like,
I just want you to know.
Okay, I'm being serious.
I just want you to know that you are beautiful and that, you know, your dark skin is beautiful and that everything about you is beautiful.
And I was just sitting there like, hold on, hold, flag on the play. I ain't gonna play. Do you seriously think? Do you seriously think that I needed that pep talk? Like, my entire life, I thought I was ugly until this very moment. Like, you had to dedicate that time in order to let me know that I am valid and that I am beautiful. Like, I literally didn't know until you, Mr. Jeff, came along and told me. And you know, I might sound mean for saying this, but really think about it. If you, it applies to any situation, anything that you have overcome, and someone like patronizingly tells you about how you're just so perfect, you're so strong. Shut up. I do not need to be like coddled by you. So he's giving me this whole little pep talk and I'm like so uncomfortable. I'm literally sitting there like vagina dry, the hope's gone, literally want to crawl up into myself and poop myself out, like so uncomfortable. Hey, like, I'm just like gonna go to the bathroom real quick, like, be right back. So I get up and I scurry away to the bathroom. And while I'm inside, I actually asked the bartender, like, hey, I'm so sorry, like, you didn't get a tip from any of those drinks. Like, I don't know how you paid for it, but I was like, I can pay for it and I can tip you. And he was like, no, you're completely fine. It's all good, blah, blah, blah. I'm not broke. I'm not broke like him. I can give you some money. I have no problem giving you some money. But he didn't want any money. So I went back out to my stupid little date. And at this point, I don't know when he dropped this gem on me, but it was really the piece de resistance of the entire date. He's a drug dealer. Now you, I'm sure, have the same questions as I. Well, maybe not. Maybe you guys are like, oh my God, not a drug dealer. Let me not fake like I haven't dated drug dealers in the past. Like I'm not gonna play with y'all. I don't date like El Chapos, but it's very, very common, extremely common for someone to sell weed. So I didn't bat an eyelash at him for selling weed. It was more so like, you're a drug dealer, but you had a single $10 bill on you and not even $7 in your bank account. Drug dealing is an all cash business. Last time I checked, it was an all cash business. It's especially in states where it's still illegal, like our state of Ohio. So you telling me that you had one crumpled up 10? Something's just not adding up here. So at this point, I'm just like, of course, cherry on top, you're a broke drug dealer. It's just so bad. The end of the date is here. Finally, right? He's like,
so I was hoping that you were gonna come back to my house and we could chill, we could like watch a movie. I could tell you not on that because you wore jeans.
what the fuck are you saying about?
Well, I just know because whenever a girl wears leggings, it means that she's on trash. And when she wears jeans, she's not.
I'm so confused.
Think about it. Like, are you gonna lay up in somebody's bed wearing jeans? No. But would you lay up in someone's bed wearing leggings? Yeah.
I'm done. I gotta go. Like I'm out. I'm a head out. And literally on that note, that was the end of the date. We walked out of the bar and we hugged goodnight, and he has not heard a word from me since. And that was hands down the worst date that I have ever had in my life. If you guys enjoyed this video, please make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Let me know your favorite part about the entire, like, let me know the piece de resistance for you personally, because for me, it was the whole, you're so beautiful, like, uplift yourself, like that, the hand around me, the up, oh, hands down, the best part of the date. That was it for me. Let me know what yours was down below. If you enjoyed this story time, make sure that you, again, give this video a thumbs up and let me know down below, because I definitely have a full list of story times in my phone that I do not mind telling. I love just sitting here and talking to you guys and being able to relate to you guys and letting you in on certain parts of my life and funny things that have happened. And with all that being said, that brings us to the end of today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. Remember to keep positivity in your life, because positivity breeds positivity, and we have absolutely no time for negativity in 2020. I will see you guys in my next video very, very soon. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram and Instagram. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful, beautiful day. Bye.